This is the new farrowing house where you put the sows when they're getting ready to have their babies, and this is where they have their babies. And then they stay in there for a few weeks, and then when they're done, the little pigs are moved to another place called a hot nursery, and the moms go back into the sow pens and wait to be bred again to have another round of pigs. This is our new farrowing house. This is the old farrowing house. This is what they call the finishing building. And this is where they take the pigs after they've been in the hot nursery and the nursery. And they stay here until they're market weight, and then they're shipped to market. This is the bulk bin that fills all the feeders that are inside the building for the pigs to eat.
Hi kids, we're giving you a tour of our pig farm right now. And we thought now would be a good time to start because we have one mama pig that just got done having babies and another one that is just starting. So hopefully we can catch one coming out. Right now I'm getting the syringe ready to give...
Should I feed them?
No, I've already fed them. To give them a shot of penicillin so they don't get infection. And also so they milk a little bit better so their babies have more to eat. So I've got the penicillin in the syringe. Now I'm adding the oxytocin. That should be just about enough. Okay, let's go get a couple of more shots. Yeah, this one just got done.
That one is
Yep, they're up nursing. Let's see if any of these still have their booties on. This last one came out. Hold on just a second, baby. See, these little booties, they're starting to come off already. She came out and had those on to protect the mama when she came out.
Move your fingers a minute.
And now they're starting to come off already. An umbilical cord, which is how she feeds when she's in the mommy's tummy. It'll take about 3 days and that'll all be dried up and it'll just fall off. Okay, Ruben, can I have this?
Put boots on. Hey, Mom,
I wonder if you want to go around the back here, dear? Oh, he's been out a couple
Okay,
minutes. He was out when I came to get you.
Go.
As you can see, the mothers stay in what this is called a farrowing crate. And the mothers stay in between these bars and they have plenty of room to get up and down to eat and drink. We feed them right here in their feed trough, morning and night. Belly 10 or 15 pounds of feed a day when they're nursing. And they have their automatic water here. They just push this button and the water comes out to drink. And the reason they're in the crates like this is so that they don't lay on their babies, so they don't crush them. These little bars go down to keep the mamas in, and yet the babies can get up to nurse without any problem. These here pigs are probably about a week old, if I remember right. And they'll stay in the crates for between 2 and 3 weeks usually, and then we'll move the mamas out and move the pigs to a different building. Any other thing I should tell you here?
I don't know if they'll notice the difference in the flooring.
I can bring that out. As you can see, there's this flooring back here is plastic coated wire, and it's warmer than just this wire is. The by having the floor like this, all their poops and manure falls down into the pit, and then the pigs stay nice and dry and away from any diseases. The heat lamps are here to keep them warm, so they're 85 to 90 degrees warm when they're born or for the first week or so of their life.
Now what's this thing hanging here?
That's another heater. It's a gas heater instead of a heat bulb heater. Yes. Okay. You on or off?
On.
This here hose, which looks like junk hanging here, is actually a sprinkler. In the summertime, it drips water on them to keep them cool enough so they don't get too hot in here. We have fans running, and then also just drips water on this mamas to keep them cool. Let's go over here.
Ruben?
Now this is the new family.
Oh, my battery's really low.
Are you running or not?
I'm running.
When you go to the barn.
I'll charge the battery up,
This
Ruben.
is a farrowing house, pretty much like what we just got done. But these mamas, most of them have been moved out. There's 4 left that I haven't moved out yet. And their pigs are still in here for a couple of days, and then they will go out. But this is about the size the pigs will be, just a hair smaller when we take the mommies away. And they're just given special pelleted feed now for a couple of weeks, and then we'll go on to a grind feed. And as you can see, there's crates in here, just like the other building, and a feed cart and feeders for the sows, and a dripper for the sows to keep them cool. And there are several fans and air inlets for fresh air. And this also has a wire floor for the manure to fall through to keep the pigs nice and clean and dry. Anything else, dear?
I don't think so. Okay.
Okay, this one's coming backwards. I've got a hold of a leg. I'm going to have to help pull him out, just like the doctor has to help some babies born. Here she comes. I lost it. Right there. Here comes a foot. Big booties. 2 legs. The tail. It's a pig. Clean out its nose so it doesn't suffocate. Here's these booties. This other one that's up nursing is probably 15 minutes old. I'm going to shut off until
I'm recording.
What?
I'm recording.
Okay, you ready?
That's right.
You're still on? The first 2 are already up trying to nurse. And after they find a nipple, the first 2 or 3 days they'll find one nipple that they stay on, and they'll go to the same nipple every day until they're weaned. She's might have another one pretty quick.
There's another baby coming. Okay, here we come. Here's a foot. Here's a foot. This one came out backwards. And there it is. There it is. He's all tuckered out from the long trip. Gonna lay there just a minute. Here's Lynn getting ready to grind feed. He's got to pull around and get lined up. And back the grinder up to the bin. This small bin beside the larger bin holds the soy protein that he adds. And the larger bin is where the corn is at. He's getting lined up. And we'll go a little closer and take a look at it as it's running. The spout that you see now with a little bit of dust coming out of it is the unloading auger. And that's what he uses when he dumps it into the other bins that unloads it into each feeder and the pins and things. Lynn has a recipe that he follows when he grinds feed. First he turns on the scale so he knows how many pounds of protein made from soybeans that he adds to the feed. And sometimes he has to add medicine to the feed as well too. And that's coming from that small white bin that stands beside the large bin that holds the corn. And then the auger takes it up into the grinder. Now he's making the engine go faster. The power takeoff on the tractor so that it will mix the corn, the additive, together. And open the lever that lets the corn out, travels up that pipe and the grinder. The thing that's turning faster is called the power takeoff. That's what powers the grinder to grind up the corn and mix the protein. It's very dangerous to leave it straight away from the power takeoff. So look carefully at that little stripe with the numbers and see how it's mixed from the inside. Mixing up the protein with the corn. So it's the right mixture of the pig. See how it's filling up fuller and fuller.
The camera's not going through that screen. That's and all these knives to push it through. I'm going to turn it on real slow now.
Those bars hit the corn through those holes, and you can see even though the tractor going very slow, those knives spin very, very fast.
As slow as I can run.
And they all go inside that protective cover.
Okay, I'm attempting to show you the inside of the grinder and how it mixes it. Jerry's just turned it on. And there's a big auger there in the center that brings it up to the top and throws it out to the outside. And then it works its way back down and gets thrown up again, and it goes up and down around that tank many times to get stirred and mixed correctly. This is the inside of the one side of our barn, which is the nursery pigs, and these pigs are big enough they're just about ready to go outside now. You can see they got a wire or plastic floor so that all the manure drops down, and the other end there's a tile, and the manure goes outside into a pit stored outside. They'll stay in here anywhere from a month to a month and a half, depending on how cold it is. And this building is typically 70 or 75 degrees. You can see they have round feeders, rectangular feeders that they eat out of. Here's a heater. Most of the water is in the water, so you push the button, the water comes out, they drink out of it. And there's a fan here, and a fan inside that box, and another fan on the other end.
What are your poles here? Your pipes?
Here.
The pipes?
These are the feed tubes that go down into the feeders. Turn on the auger and the feed runs down to fill the feeders. That's good here, I think, here.
Here's a move.
This is one of the next steps. Some of the pigs, when they move out of the nursery, will be put in here until they're ready to go to market. And some of these are ready to market. We'll go to market next week, like that one and a few others. They also have automatic nipple waters and feeders filled and ran by an auger system, just like the other building. Curtain here that goes automatically up and down to keep the temperature at a set temperature of 60 degrees or so. Yeah, this is what would be called a partial slanted building, where this floor up here is all slotted and sloped, solid and sloped, and this floor here is cement slats where all the manure drops down into. So these pigs are also up out of the manure and stay clean and dry. That's about it, dear.
And feeding. Gonna feed the sows. Move in, and he fills them and takes them in until they know what's coming. And these sows are fed once a day. The other animals in the building are fed twice a day, but these are just fed once a day. And Lynn,
Between 4 and 6 pounds a day, depending upon how cold the weather is.
the colder it is and the more feed they get, because it takes more energy and more food to stay warm. And Lynn dumps them in different spots, and they all kind of have a spot, and they move back and forth.
Okay, go ahead. Right there. Yep.
Okay.
This is what's called an open front finishing building. The pigs will sleep back inside here in the winter time to stay warmer. They can go out here and eat out of the cell feeders anytime they're hungry. And here is their water, which is also automatic. They come out, just drink it quickly. You move them out of the nursery out to here and they get bedding, either cornstalk bales or straw or bean stubble bales for bedding in the winter to stay warm. And these pens are cleaned out with the skid loader and loaded into a manure spreader and haul. And they'll stay here until they're ready for market. And this pen is also ran by a auger fed just like the other pens are to keep them fed. Any other questions here?
I don't think so.
Okay. Quiet, please, Ruben. This is the inside of the barn, up above where the finishing pigs are that we showed you a few minutes ago. It has changed over the years. In fact, at one time in the bottom we used to milk cows. Then it went from milking cows to finishing cattle. And we had turkeys in the basement on one bottom at one time, and now it's back to pigs. But up here it used to be filled with hay from the floor all the way to the ceiling. And we would feed that hay to the cattle all winter long. On the outside, where the slanted roof is, used to be filled with straw, and we would use that for our bedding all winter long. Right now, there's still a little bit of that left. These bales here are bean stubble bales that we use for bedding, that we bale up after we're done combining the beans. There's some hay here left over from when we fed calves that will be used again for calves. And there's still some straw along the side. Reuben would like to show you what we use the upstairs for most of all now. Go ahead, Reuben.
Got it!
This is our playground. Reuben swings there, and go ahead. Bryce is on the cable ride.
I'll go on the climbing wall. I'll get on the climbing wall.
And we have a climbing wall for the boys to play on, and
I'll do it. I'll do the climbing wall.
well,
Whee!
and then of course this just a small basketball area here.
A cave they like to get into. And the basketball hoop.
Behind that, this is the hay bale conveyor. So this chain goes around and around, and these teeth pick up the hay bales and bring the hay bales from the bottom of the barn up into it, or wherever we want it. We move this hay conveyor all over the country, slide it out and carry it to where we need to use it, and it's used to move a lot of hay bales. Show them up. These big doors up here at the top, when we used to fill it clear full of hay, we would stick the elevator up there. And the elevator, we'd elevate the hay bales all the way to the top and they'd drop. Then we'd carry them to the back or have a conveyor to haul them to the back and stack them. That's about it for here, dear.
The whole barn?
Yeah. Okay, dear.
Now,
This is the corn crib. The sides in the past have always been used to house ear corn, to store ear corn. At this point, we just pick enough to fill one side of it with ear corn. Overhead are the overhead bins, which can store corn or beans, or in the past we even had oats in them. And there's an inside elevator that we can dump the wagons in, and I think we'll go up in a minute and show you some of the bins.
Oh no, I hate.
She's just showing you a top view of the ear corn on this side. And sometime next month or two, we'll have the corn sheller come and shell that.
and it comes in through that light panel there. We take that off and put the elevator up to fill it. Okay.
Over here on the sides are the bean bins, which are partially empty now. And this up here is the, there are 6 of them, 2 on that side and 2 in the middle that we're standing on and 2 on the other side. This here is the elevator. These cups come up full of grain, and as they go around, they dump the grain and it slides down into here. And this is swung then to whichever bin we want to fill it in. If we want to fill here, we just slide that around to wherever it goes. You might want to get just a shot of the empty ear corn on our way down. Otherwise,
to let you know how high up we are, you can see the top of the silo from this window. And now I'll show you how far up we are by looking at the empty side of the corn crib.
I wouldn't go too far.
And there it kind of shows you all the way down. Okay.
This is our machine shed. It's very old. It's probably 40 years old, and as you can tell, most of the big tractors and big combines of today can't fit in it. We do take out this post and put in the planter and the baler and the skid loader and the small tractor, and tools and equipment are in here. This is the skid loader. I'm sure many of you seen that we use to clean the hog floors and once in a while to move snow, but mostly to clean hog floors with. Step in, dear. Here's the machine shed's relatively empty now because we've got the planter out, getting it ready to go to the field. Here's the hay baler that we use to bale hay or straw or the bean stubble. This is our yard tractor that we use around the yard to grind feed with and move pigs and run an auger or pull wagons with. It's the only tractor we have that fits in the machine shed or fits in the crib. And it's about 30 years old, so it's been had a few days around.
Go ahead.
This is a 3-point hog carrier, and the 3-point of the tractor hooks on here. It's 3-point, that's why it's called that. It lifts up and down to move the pigs around and the gate to let them in and out. We'll just step over to the manure spreader since it's nice and close. Box manure spreader that we haul solid manure in. It's loaded with either the skid loader or the big loader bucket on the tractor. It has a feeder in the back that goes around and spreads the manure out. But why don't you show from the inside, dear?
Well, all right, just...
This end gate goes down to hold the liquids in, and then it's raised up with the back of the load. This is ran by power takeoff. The feeder will go around and spread the manure out. And these two chains bring the manure back to it, and that's spread out in the field for fertilizer. This is a honey wagon or a liquid manure spreader that we use to pump out our pits. It's ran by a hydraulic motor off the tractor. The pump is actually inside and it's worked by air. The air is sucked out of the tank, blown out down here, and as the air is sucked out, it creates a vacuum to suck the manure in. Then when it's time to unload, we open up the end gate and it blows it out, blows air in and forces the manure out. This is just a small 1,500 gallon tank. A lot of them are 3,000, 5,000, and up to 10,000 gallons.
This is a lot of space it takes to put up.
This is an anhydrous applicator, which we use to put nitrogen on. And it can be put on either in the spring or the fall, or sometimes even side dressed in the summer. But usually it'll be put on in the spring. You'll see the big white tanks that are pulled behind this, hooked onto this hose, and that goes in here to a gauge and a control valve. And the gas, it then goes down into these knives. And we put anhydrous on the acres that are going to corn. Beans do not need the nitrogen, but we do put it on corn acres. Normally we would put anhydrous on, and then we would field cultivate to work the soil up and tear the weeds out and to loosen it up a little bit. But the field cultivator's up the other farm right now, so we're going to go ahead and show you the corn planter a little bit. And this is an 8-row wide corn planters. And I'm sure many of you have seen there's a lot of different sizes of corn planters, everywhere from 4 rows to 8 rows to 12, 16, up to 24 rows. Right now I have the corn units off. Now just put one of those back on now. We've had the corn units off, going over them, getting them fixed. They just slide right in there and pop on, and you're ready to put your corn in. This box back here is used for herbicide and insecticide. It's split down the middle, and one side has herbicide on it and one uses insecticide. At this point, I don't use that anymore because I've gone with a liquid herbicide that I spray on instead, because it seems to work a little bit better. These planters all have monitors on them anymore, little sensors in them that tell you every time a seed drops into the ground. So if the chain breaks or gets plugged, or for some reason it isn't working, the monitor will come on and tell you in the tractor that there's a problem. Here on the end, these things sticking up are the markers. When you let them down, this would come out and drop down, and that's the mark that you follow the next time you drive through the field. That's where the center of your tractor would go to keep your rows running straight and spaced evenly. Each time on the end, when you turn around, the markers take turns. One will be up and one will be down, depending on which way you're working across the field.
You gonna show them the fingers?
These same boxes are used for soybeans, but they have a different unit that goes in them. And they're bolted in. At this point, I think we'll have to show those to you later. That takes a couple bolts to take apart here. This contraption here is in a sprayer control. It automatically measures how much spray you're putting on and automatically adjusts it to how fast you're going. Sometimes you might hit a mud hole and it'll slow you down to half the speed from the slippage of your wheels. And this will automatically change the amount of spray that's coming out. These are a bunch of electrical wires here and in front, and they go into a monitor inside that tell us what the pressure is and how many gallons per acre we're putting on and how many gallons per minute, and also how fast we're traveling. That's gotten to be a very important item in the last few years as expensive chemicals have gotten on. And I use that when I plant on the planter, and then also when we're done planting, we'll put Teflon on the bean acres, and I'll use that same unit. And then another week or two later, it'll be time to spray the corn, and I will use it to spray the corn, and then also when we spray the beans. In front are my a lot of people will have their tanks on the field cultivator or on the 3-point or full-type tanks. I just put these on in the spring, and they will stay there until July, until I'm all done spraying for the year. I thought it'd be good to show you the dual tires on the tractor that we use to do the field cultivating and pull the soil saver and the heavy tillage in the fall. We put on an extra wheel in the back. One, to get traction so we don't slip as much, and two, so we don't put as much weight or compaction on the ground. This is an older tractor that really isn't very big by today's standards, but it probably still weighs between 11,000 and 12,000 pounds. The front of it has an extra fuel tank so you can run longer, and also most of the tractors will have weights on to keep the front end down when they're pulling a plow or a 3-point mounted piece of equipment. This is the row crop cultivator that we'll use to go through the corn and the beans after the corn's up and the beans are up 3 or 4 or 5 inches. You see it has shovels on it to pull out the weeds in between the rows. And we'll let these down, and the corn will fit right in between those, and they will protect the corn to keep the corn from being covered up. And this one here it has a transport on them. A lot of the new ones fold up and you can just go down the road. This one, these wheels have to be folded down, and there's a tug that pulls out on the other end. When you're ready to cultivate, you fold the wheels back up. This is the row crop cultivator used to pull the weeds out and aerate the soil a little bit. That's good.
Now,
This is a soil saver that we use in the fall on the corn stalks. Either you can disc in front of it or just go straight in with this, and we'll go, rather than running directly with the rows, we'll go a little bit kitty corner. These blades are sharp and they will go around and cut the corn stalks. Nice strength on this one. They will go through and just tear up a little path 2 or 3 inches wide and roll it over and fill that soil up and cut the corn stalks to help aerate a little bit and solve any compaction problems and get it ready for spring field work. It's all these beams are filled with concrete to make this extra heavy to keep it in the ground. Over here is a moldboard plow, also something used in the fall for tillage purposes. We will either use one piece of equipment or the other, both of them on the same piece of ground. A 5 bottom, and it will go in the ground between, usually if we go about 6 inches deep, between 6 and 8 inches deep. The dirt will come up here and it will just roll it over. So what was on top will be on the bottom, and then what was down on the bottom 8 inches is on top. It'll bury a lot of the corn stalks and trash and make the soil nice and soft. This field out here has been moldboard plowed. You can see how it's quite black. The field in the distance was soil saved, and you can see a lot of corn stalks on that yet. Field cultivator from here?
no, the planter.
Not much to say about it here.
Okay. You want to talk about the machinery trailer at all?
I don't know if they can even see it.
Okay. Cultivator.
This is a field cultivator. It's used in the spring for a couple of purposes. One is to till the soil, loosen it up, make a good seed bed for the seed to be planted in and to grow in. Usually you'll run 4 or 5 inches deep. Its other purpose is to tear out any weeds that might be growing here before we plant. I don't know if you can tell or not, this one is a 3-point or mounted. It hooks onto the back of the tractor. It has 3 rows of spring shanks with shovels on it that go along and till the soil, and a leveler behind. A lot of them are pull types, which just means you have a tongue on them and it pulls behind the tractor instead of mounted. And a lot of them will have 4 or 5 rows of feet instead of 3 to keep from plugging up in a lot of trash, a lot of bean stubble or corn stalks. We use this both in the before we plant corn and before we plant beans. The next step after this will be to go through with the planter. This ground's a little wet, so I'm going to wait till tomorrow morning and start planting it. Another thing it does is to level off the soil so the ground.
Can see how he folded up both ends so they're ready to go down the road.
This is just a transfer tank. It holds about 15 or 1,600 gallons. We use it to haul water out to the field to refill the sprayers with. A transfer pump that pumps about 140 gallons a minute so we can refill quick and keep the sprayer going. Spray corn, and also when we spray beans, and we put Teflon on, so it gets used quite a bit in the spring. Wagon, get down, Bryce. It's used in the fall to haul corn and beans, and also maybe used during the year to empty out a grain bin. You just pull this spout up alongside of the auger. And this is how you open it and close it. And this wagon holds about 300 bushel, and they range everywhere from There's gravity wagons that are 200 bushels all the way up to 750 bushels. This is an elevator. We use it primarily for ear corn, where we just pull up alongside of the gravity wagon and the ears will roll out when we open it, and slidings will go around and take the ear corn up to the top and drop it. It can also be used for soybeans or corn, any grain, even hay bales. A lot of people can run hay bales up into their barn. It's ran by the power takeoff of a tractor that runs it to make it go around and round and out.
Okay.
You ready?
This is the hay rake.
This is a very old hay rake. I don't know how old exactly, but it has to be at least 40 or 50 years old. You can tell still has all steel wheels in it. Get off, Bryce. I used to mow hay down with a mower, and then as you drive, this here would roll around and rake the hay into line so you could come along and bale it. And you rake it for a couple of reasons. One, to get it in a line so the baler could pick it up, and also to get it up off the ground so the wind could blow through it and dry it. Okay?
Go ahead.
This is the combine we use to harvest shell corn and soybeans. It's hard to show you how it works in the machine shed, but the heads would fit on here. You just drive up and pick up the head. There's a large chain inside this throat that goes around and pulls the grain up into the cylinder where the grain is knocked off the cobs and out of the soybean hulls. The engine is inside this compartment. Up top you can see the grain tank. There's a big fan in here to blow out a lot of the shaft and the dust and the dirt. You can see the combine has a lot of belts and chains, a lot of moving parts on it. This would take the clean grain up into the tank. And then the husk and stuff. You still with me, dear?
Just a second.
The husk is brought out here through the straw walkers and down through the chopper. Swing over and do a little bit of the head.
Yeah. What goes up there, Reuben?
The corn goes in here. There's like, the other things,
I'll shut it.
and it goes out to the office.
This is a flex head that we use to harvest soybeans. This is called the reel, and it goes around and around and pushes the standing stalks into the sickle. These sharp knives go back and forth very, very fast and cut the stalks off. The auger takes it up into the combine and where the combine feeds it. And this is, I don't know if I can do it now, it's built so it flexes. If it hits a bump, it'll just go up and right back down, and it'll flex all over. If the ground isn't perfectly level, it'll still cut the soybeans off close to the ground. One picture.
Why don't she come up here?
She will.
Is the inside of the combine. Inside of the combine. And this is how you put the auger out. This is the steering wheel. Yeah. And this.
That's the auger that takes the corn out of the bin in there and into the wagons or the trucks. All right.
And there's two doors in here. One over there, and this one only has two seats, one seat, but some combines only have two. This one down on the big wheel down there, they only have one, but some combines have two. It's the corn picker.
This harvests ear corn. It does not take the corn off the cob. The cob of the corn stays one unit.
And it takes
These chains pull the stalks in, and the rollers pull them down.
And it put it.
Bryce, quiet now. And the ears of corn will snap off here, go into the auger. There's a big chain in there that'll take it up to the top, where there's a fan to blow out any stalks and husks that go up with it. And then there's a bunch of rollers to try and take any husk off that are left on. And the ears will go up the long, tall elevator into the wagon behind. As you pick ear corn, you pull a wagon behind, and then when it gets full, you unhook and hook onto another wagon and fill another one. Whereas the combine, you fill the tank in the combine and then just dump it on the ends or dump it on the go if someone's driving alongside of you.